Okay. Alright, so now we filled in the front view. Now we want to show our top view. Okay, and then what that's going to require is us to start blocking in this entire face, right? So we want to go ahead and draw these edges and the guidelines for the outside of the object. So I'm going to start up here. Go there. And now here's the key. When I do this one, I'm going to stop at that line because that line represents that edge. Okay, and now the one thing we're missing is we're missing this indentation, right? We're trying to show this shape here. So in order to show that, we're just going to eyeball it, but it's a little over halfway. So we're going to come down a little over halfway and go horizontal to our red line there and close in that shape. So you should end up with something like that. Now what we have to do, this is where it's going to get more interesting, right? We're going to need to block in our side view and then use projection lines to figure out the rest of our side view. This is the most important part. So I'm going to go ahead and block in my edges, right? And these are coming from these projection lines here. Right? And then when you hit this edge meets that edge, and right, so we're hitting this point and we're connecting those lines. And remember, the red pen is a light pencil. Alright, now the trick, we need to take this line, this little groove, this indentation here, and project it to this line, right? Remember, this is the folding plane. This is where the line will be transferred down. And now we need to outline our object. Remember, we're looking at the side view this time, so we're showing everything here, all that, and all that. Okay, so let's go ahead and outline that. And now we need to show that edge here. And that edge is just that little line. Now you can come back over your views and we can pop out the surfaces that are closest to the view. So I'm going to come back to my front view. I'm going to make that area bold that is closest to my arrow on the front view. And then we start to get a really nice drawing. If I'm looking at the side view, I'm popping out this face because it's closest to the camera. And then finally the top view, I'm popping out that face. And by popping out, I'm using a bolder pencil to reinforce that there is a different height of the object. Right, so we have our front view, side view, and top view. Alright, there's drawing 3. Now we're going to move to 4, doing some of the same processes. right? This is the same exact object, right? But we're just adding little steps, little cut-ins to the object itself. So let's do the same process as we were earlier. Let's do our projection lines for the height, right, and the width. Anchor our view down. And do our outer edges, our top edges. So we frame in this front. Alright, now we have a block. Now let's start sketching, drawing with our straight edge these profiles, right? We're trying to show these edges. So we're going to first start with these points, move to these points here, and make that L shape. Alright, so we need to find this point right here. Let's make a vertical line, just something that looks like that thickness, right? This line is far over from there, so we just want to show a vertical line all the way down. Alright, and now we're going to do one for the lower leg of the L. Okay, and now I've created that L-shaped surface, right, which represents the whole view, but now I need to come in and cut these little chunks out, right, these little surfaces here. These got to pop out of this view. So I'm going to use a couple guidelines here. I'm going to use this guideline to show there, and then to show this edge, I'm going to use this guideline up here. Alright, now we got a mess of lines, but let's just take a step back and draw the big picture and work in the details. Alright, like we said, we're going to draw this whole L shape. Draw our bottom edge. Draw our top edge, but we're going to stop right here. Then we're going to go down to the bottom leg here, and we're going to go all the way over. And we close off the shape. Now we want to draw in those grooves, right? These surfaces here. So those grooves happen where we drew our guidelines. There. Okay, now I'm going to use my heavy pen to darken in this face closest to the camera, closest to the view. Alright, now we're going to do all that same stuff on the top view. So I'm going to block in. We created our block out there, and now we need to find those lines that split these faces in the top view. And let's make this line and that line the same. So we're going to draw a horizontal line over for now. Now if we trace that top view, remember it's like we're looking down there. Here, I'm only going to draw that leg and this line, as so, and then my bottom line. but only to this point here. And now I'm drawing the top faces here and here. And that is your complete top view, right? We've just shown this surface, which is here, and then we've shown this surface, which is up here. Now let's pick out that elevated platform, which is this piece. We want to pop that out with our heavy pencil, right? And by heavy pencil, I mean your 3B, 2B, or you want to bear down really hard to kind of get this to pop out off of the page. Okay, now let's continue with our guidelines. So we've made our horizontal guidelines here, and now we're going to strike our guidelines to finish out our side view. And remember where this line hits the folding plane, we go vertical. We're going to complete that side view, just like we're looking at the part from this angle. So that would mean this face, and even this face here. Alright, so I'm going to block that in. Back edge, bottom edge. Now I'm going to draw vertically, but you got to stop at this point, because that point and that line represent this edge, right? We want to keep this part cut out. Our side view will look like that on the top, and here as well as here. So let's close that in. Alright, so that's our side view, and let's create this bump out. And that gives you your front, side, and top views. Okay, now how we've completed those four, you're going to do the same continuing steps on the rest of the drawings, right? So for 5, 6, 7, and 8, you're doing the same kind of process. Find your front view, create some assumptions, make some even lines based on proportion, transfer those lines to a top or a side view, and again, using proportion, right, your kind of eye to guess, create some guidelines and continue that by filling in the rest of the views. Alright?